Hello. Welcome to the 85th episode of the Karstcast movie-cast.
Big number 85.
Yeah, that is a fat number, to be honest. We are 15 episodes out from 100.
Which we're doing our big tier list for the 100th episode.
Yep.
Of every movie that we've watched on the Karstcast.
It's going to be
We're
a
gonna rank 'em.
big, chunky episode.
That's probably going to have to be the whole episode, isn't it? Like, we can't do
Probably.
that and a movie.
No,
We probably can't even do an intro.
Special.
We'll have to. We just hop
to
into
jump
the 100th
right
episode.
into it.
We're like, okay, so S tier, obviously, Kazam. Oh, I already messed this up. I just said the first two things that came to mind, and that's not how that works at all.
That is, yeah. Kangaroo. If S stood for shit, right, then it would be. What does S tier stand for? I've never understood. Super?
Supreme?
Superb.
Yeah, I don't know.
Star. Yeah.
Satisfactory. No, that's like medium.
Right. I got a trivia question for you today, Jeff. And it's not what does the S and S tier stand for.
Good,
It
because I would
is-
get that wrong.
Yeah. It is what is the capital of Minnesota, my home state? What is the capital of it?
Okay, is it St. Paul?
Wait, no. Yep.
Oh,
you
was
got
right?
it. You-
See,
yeah, you
I
got
wasn't
it.
sure, so
See-
when you hit the buzzer, I thought it was actually wrong.
No, I was so confident that button was the ding, and it was not.
It's funny because like 2 minutes before we started recording, when you were testing
tested
the
'em
soundboard,
all.
that was one of the buttons you tested.
Yep. And I, as right before you were gonna answer that, I was like, oh shit. But yeah, you got it. That's St. Paul. That is the specific city that I'm from too. So
It is?
big. Yeah. Well, no, but like I'm from like a south suburb of St. Paul. I still.
That's where you're from? Well, no, it's not. It's a lie.
It's like, well, it's like when people say they're from Chicago, but they're from Evanston. Let's say.
Right. It's the same kind of thing.
It's kind of Chicago, but it's not. I'm from
It's not
Invergrove
Chicago.
Heights. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I doubt there are any Invergrove Heights listeners here. It's a very small city. And a very lame suburb.
Were you born in St. Paul though?
I don't know where I was. No,
'Cause
I was born
I feel
in
like there might not be hospitals where you're from if it's that small.
No, I was not born in Invergrove Heights, but I also don't think I was born in Minneapolis. To be honest, I was born in the big city.
Nice.
And here I am, still in the city.
I was born in Clearwater, Florida, home of Winter the Dolphin. I was born minutes from where Winter is currently living.
Right. Really became a huge part of your, I don't know, personality.
Yeah, because I just feel like personally I relate to the dolphin because I too
Can swim.
don't have a tail.
Oh. I can't believe I got that button right. Cool. Well, yesterday was Halloween.
It was.
there's
And I
that.
saw that you did end up doing the John Waters costume.
I did do the John Waters costume.
And then you immediately got rid of the mustache.
Yep. Well, I was so excited about the costume that the minute I woke up, I was like going to the bathroom and did the mustache, and it honestly looked like shit. I had to add eyeliner. It looked like just an accident at first.
It worked though when you added the eyeliner.
Yeah. As soon as, I will not lie, not to toot my own horn here, but I kind of nailed it when I added the eyeliner.
Honestly, when you did the side-by-side pictures on Instagram,
yeah.
you kind of nailed that costume.
Yeah. It's the first time I've been proud. Thank you. It's the first time I've been proud of a costume in a long time.
Which sucks that it was for this year.
Yeah. But, we got a good picture out of it. So, the only costume I remember you having was you had like a gold suit or something.
Right, yeah. No, yeah. It was 2 years ago at your party.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to Village Discount Outlet, which is like the best thrift store in Chicago. There's a few locations.
Yep.
And I bought fishing waders for $2. And these were like very intact fishing waders. Because I feel like fishing waders should only cost $2 if there's a hole in them. And then you get in the water and it just fills with water.
Yeah.
But these actually would keep water out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the problem is that then I went over to your apartment. Mm-hmm. Oh, I was with the gold suit. I I actually intentionally just picked confusing items, and it wasn't an actual costume, and I just wanted to see if people would guess what I was when it obviously was nothing. It was like a gold sequined blazer and fishing waders.
Yeah.
And then I told people I was a game show host for a fishing themed game show.
Yep. That's what I remember. I remember you showed up and all of us were like, what is it?
And I was just like, isn't it obvious?
Yeah. I remember it was, oh my God. I very vividly remember that night because you were, I think, the first person to show up. That was a very fun party. I don't know if you remember the decorations we set up. And I remember it was just like kind of us hanging out.
I came early because you borrowed my fog machine.
We did, yeah.
That's why I came up early to help set that up. Yeah. Because I owned a fog machine. I still own the fog machine. I don't want it. Why do I own it? It was stupid.
You should set up fog for all the podcasts.
Yeah, I could do that actually.
You should have done that for the Halloween episode.
I should have.
Been so funny.
Yeah, I also have a green screen, except for that is the dumbest idea ever because a fog machine does not at all work with a green screen. Those work against each other.
Yeah. It would...
No, but here's the thing: the fog machine that I bought because it was on sale.
Yeah.
There was no actual reason to buy this. The only time it was ever used was by my former roommate for the company he worked for. He was shooting a commercial for and they needed someone's car to look broken down, so they used that to make it look like
it was like smoke coming out.
Yeah, smoke was coming out of the front of the car.
That's so
it actually looked perfect.
I'm surprised because I feel like that wouldn't work.
It worked amazingly well, so at least it was good for something.
It is a good fog machine.
Yeah, and they bought me extra fog fluid for them using it.
That's awesome.
So that was nice. Yeah,
gotta love free fog fluid.
But here's the thing: I have not used it since then, besides for your party, and I have so much extra fog fluid. I don't know what to do with it. I'm gonna start just fogging myself up whenever we do this podcast.
Yeah,
do like
it's
a big
very
intro.
Specific issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reveal.
I'll be like, yeah, I need this podcast needs to be more atmospheric.
Yeah, do it every time you do the beverage reveal check for the episode. Today we're drinking
Mountain
Mountain Dew.
I didn't open it. You ready for this beverage reveal?
Oh, here we go.
It's Coke.
There we go. I was like, that's not a great reveal because you just covered the whole thing with your hand.
Yeah. It wasn't good, but
yeah. Yep.
You know what's coming out soon? The video I did with you where I drank the old Coke.
Yep. Jeff's big video.
The
giant. Everybody's been waiting. I mean, you should set it to premiere settings so you could host a premiere of it. So I did it one time, and honestly, it was kind of a failure because it just messes up the release. Because so much of your videos rely on that initial notification that people get and that initial drop, and that's the strongest your video will be for the next week if it doesn't get recommended up the algorithm. Yeah. So yeah, I did it once, and it's everybody who would normally, it just is confusing because they get the notification, then it sends them to a waiting screen, and then it's you gotta watch it live. You can't skip forward a part. It's just
no one's gonna want to do that.
It's a messy rollout. It's fun for the people that are there, and you're
right. So you told me to do this, and then you explained why it sucks.
well. I mean, don't do it, but I mean, it seems like a funny idea. It would be the worst idea for the podcast to force people to sit through. Yeah.
You know what I should do? I should make a thumbnail that's me holding the Coke, and it just says, "Do I die?"
Little X's over your eyes. You can
I feel like I would do that, but I feel like YouTube wouldn't like that.
No, well, "Do I die" is a little strong, but you should definitely Photoshop your face to be green and pale, be a shot of you over the toilet or something. Just ugh. It's not funny at all. I don't know why. That'd be
But anyways, look for that to drop in the next few days.
Yeah, the title's just worst beverage ever.
Yeah. Well, I do really quick, just for 30 seconds, maybe you want to workshop a title with you.
Okay.
Because my running title I was going to do is, in all caps, I drank old Coke.
Okay, I was gonna say don't do all caps, because the thing I think is all lowercase. But if it's just I drank old Coke,
Yeah.
that's really funny. See, that's really funny. I cannot say that'll hit that hard, because people
Right.
love like specifics. If we're talking serious here, like the title, if you'd want to, is I drank an 18-year-old Coke.
It was 15 years old.
15 years old.
18's the sequel I haven't shot
Yeah,
yet.
18's the next one.
That's the money episode. I gotta get another 10 subscribers from this one, and then I'll drop that 18-year-old Coke, and that's when
Right.
it explodes.
Your adult Coke that you're gonna drink.
I'll be like, that's what I'm gonna say that in the video. I'll be like, this Coke can vote.
This
I'll
Coke
be
can
like,
go to jail.
This
Or this
Coke
Coke.
voted for Trump. That's why I'm drinking it.
That's not. As punishment.
Yeah, exactly. To kill it.
Yeah, to pee it out.
Right, exactly.
Piss the Coke.
Yeah, I want to say it wasn't a reward. Me,
Right.
if it voted for Trump, I was not rewarding this Coke. Mm-hmm. Now, just for people, if Trump somehow wins, that's going to be very upsetting, what I just
Yeah.
said. People are not going to
So-
want to hear that. So don't listen to this after Tuesday.
Yeah, that's this podcast could age so badly so fast within a day.
Yeah.
Well, we'll likely not have the results within a day, but that's a good segue.
Right.
That by the time this comes out, the next day will be election day,
yeah.
and would you agree it kind of snuck up on us? Like it.
I think
least
it
for me.
only it snuck up on us in that it's felt like election day was about to happen for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Because the way that the coverage is just so incessant that the coverage has not changed, even though it's about to happen, is the thing. It's just
That's
been
true.
over covered for 6 months.
Yeah.
Not
well, that's
over covered in terms of importance. I just mean it's just like nonstop.
Well, yeah, because it's felt like the week before the election since June, like you said.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, I thought that it would ramp up and get even more aggressive the closer it got. And that's when I would start to feel it. But no, it's just been at its peak. And that's a weird... I'm so excited for this election to be over.
Yeah, that's the best part about the election is that then you don't have to look at all the signs in people's yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you don't have to be like, damn, I don't like this neighbor.
Right. Because there's a lot of neighbors you thought you liked that... Well, I guess that's more for you. That
Yeah.
I don't think I don't
to
have
be
that
fair,
problem
I
here.
haven't lived here for a long time, so luckily I don't know
You
a
don't
lot
have-
of the neighbors.
an emotional attachment to those neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So do you want to? This is now the worst segue ever. I was gonna say, now do you want to talk about the movie? It's the worst segue possible.
no,
it's just not a
like,
segue.
No spice at all to that one. Just okay. Let's talk about the movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Now this might be my favorite movie we've ever watched. No, I'm just kidding. It's obviously not.
it doesn't have to be bad. I just think that's hilarious. If this was randomly so your thing, just
Yeah. You're like, I loved this.
yeah. For anyone that doesn't know, it's the title of the episode. Everyone knows what we're talking about.
Enola Holmes.
What? Yeah, we're talking about Enola Holmes.
All right,
It
hit
is-
us with that Google synopsis.
Here we go. While searching for her missing mother, intrepid teen Enola Holmes uses her sleuthing skills to outsmart Big Brother Sherlock, famously known as Sherlock Holmes, and help a runaway lord. That's
That's the whole thing?
yeah. That's what today I did something different. I pulled one from Letterbox because Google is so it's been
But
getting on
Google
my nerves.
tricks you with the words that you don't know. I love it.
Yep. So let's read the Google one just for funsies here.
Google's going to be like, conniving teen,
Okay,
Enola Holmes, flummoxes brother Sherlock Holmes.
well, plot twist here. It's the same synopsis on Google. So let's try IMDb. Let's get I want to find the funkiest
Yeah.
Same one on IMDb.
We should write our own synopses. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely synopses. I was gonna say synopsises. That's not a word.
That is what film podcasts do when they they come up with their own summary, because that's how it works.
Now that you're putting it like that. That makes sense.
Okay, the Wikipedia one. Let's do the it's a paragraph, but it's just, I'll read the one sentence. The story is about the teenage sister of the already famous Sherlock Holmes, who goes to London in search of her mother who has disappeared. That's about as simple as it gets, you know?
Yeah.
That is the movie. But
I mean, nothing to point out there.
I'm just shocked that I haven't found a more just clunky synopsis, because this movie is clunky as hell.
It's a clunky movie.
It's a
It's very long.
It is long. Yeah.
I was almost late again to this episode because I started it exactly 2 hours before we recorded this, because I didn't look at the time. So I thought there's no way this is longer than like an hour, like 40. It was 2 hours and 3 minutes. I finished this like right as we were supposed to record.
Yeah, this movie is definitely, and it's weird that it came out in September, because it just feels built to be like this family movie that you would catch on Christmas Day or something. It's not a Christmas movie, but it really reads like a 7 p.m. take the whole family to a packed theater and watch this. Like, it feels very old school to me. Not because it's a period piece, but
yeah, it's about that.
I mean, like, you know, yeah. Never mind.
No, you mean like an old school kind of like movie theater feature.
Yeah, and these are two very different movies, but the one that I kept thinking about when I was watching this was Nanny McPhee. I don't know if you remember Nanny McPhee. It kind of came and went.
I remember it. I don't think I ever saw it.
Yeah. They just like, they have the exact same energy to me. And where it's like this, like, you know, the period piece British film.
Yeah.
Where they're
okay,
like,
you know what film that I actually have a film that I thought it kind of hit in a similar vein as Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay. Well, okay, yeah, because of the fucking,
there's all the breaking the
fourth wall.
And then just like the snooping around kind of tone where like someone's chasing you.
Yep. Little young rebellious character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, I also actually thought about Ferris Bueller's Day Off, not because of the fourth wall breaking, but because of that.
Yeah, and also the part where they steal the car.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to come up with just more ways you could connect this to Ferris Bueller, and that's all my brain could get to.
She has a red dress.
Yeah, just like
red.
No, but just like what's his friend's name again?
I don't remember. He says his name a lot in the movie.
He says his name a lot, but he wears a red Detroit Red Wings jersey.
Cameron.
Cameron.
Yeah, I can't do a Matthew Broderick impression. Okay.
You look a little bit like Matthew Broderick.
He does that stupid thing with his mouth where he's like, yeah.
Like, you could do that would be a good Halloween costume for you.
Yeah,
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where it's Ferris Bueller in the you know, when he wears like that like crazy 80s like vest thing.
Yeah. It's very exaggerated.
Oh yeah. You could definitely pull that off as a Halloween costume.
I could. Why does his face always look like this? His face is
it's like smirking. He's a smirker. Yeah. So okay, so I back sort of to the film.
Yeah.
Did you? This is actually, you know what? Now that I'm about to say this, it's not about the film at all. When you were writing down notes, did your phone keep autocorrecting this to Ebola?
No,
because mine did constantly, and it was really annoying.
Well, I didn't. Well, okay. Yeah, I didn't have to write down Enola that much. I just wrote it for the title. Did you write?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
are your notes like Enola did this? Enola did that.
I wrote.
You wrote it a good amount.
A couple of things that are like that. Yeah.
I guess there's no problem with that. I don't know why it just came at your note writing.
Yeah, I was like, I wrote the name of the main character a few times. What of it?
You ever just swallow an ice cube that you can't get through? So you get
yeah. Well, I mean, there's only, at any given point, like it will melt enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You know what? There was an anecdote that I never got to. that was from we started in the Patreon episode. I don't know if I should just completely interrupt our Enola
Oh
Holmes
my
segment.
God. No, that's right. I had it written down in my notes. I was like, remind Jeff about his story. Do you remember what it is?
I do remember what it is.
Hey,
I wonder if I can find the actual text message. Oh, I did find it.
Okay.
And this is kind of like a mystery, kind of like
Enola
Holmes solves in the film.
Yeah.
So in our Patreon episode, we were talking about spam, like text messages.
Uh-huh.
And I received one that was not spam. It was just the wrong number because it was like someone from my area code, which is like a central West Florida area code.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the text message I received was, "Hey Jake." Okay, wait a second. I just made a breakthrough. I keep getting these messages for virtual calls, and they're asking for Jake. Some guy named Jake is pretending he has my phone number.
Wait, so this has to do with the other thing that
I don't know if it does, but some guy named Jake is giving my phone number to people, saying it's his phone number. Anyways, that's for another day. This text message I received was, "Hey Jake, I received your email. Are you available for an interview today? We are running mints today, so it would be a good opportunity to see what your job would entail. Let me know. Scott Rame, Florida Candy Factory."
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I don't feel bad saying Scott's name because he works for the Florida Candy Factory. It's clearly public information.
Yeah. Scott from the Florida Candy Factory.
Yeah, but isn't that insane?
That's
like the weirdest wrong text I've ever received.
That's also super vague, just like the Florida Candy Factory.
But I love the coded language in this, where for them it's just casual to say if they're producing mints, they say we're running mints. Like you could tell that's just like their lingo for candy making.
That's
we're
so
running mints today.
funny. You should follow through with this. And
I should have just gone and tried to take Jake's job since he keeps giving me, keep people my phone number.
How do you work your way up in the candy industry?
Well, first you got to get good at running mints. Yeah, then you got to start sugaring those Sour Patch Kids.
I imagine it's like, because in the film school we're majoring in film with a concentration in editing. I wonder if you're I'm majoring in food, whatever the fuck they say, the culinary arts. I don't know.
With a concentration in candy.
Yeah. I would love to be I'm concentrating in meat.
Yeah. I even felt bad and responded saying that I wasn't Jake. Just so they didn't think Jake was blowing him off because it sounded like Jake was starting a new job.
Right.
But yeah, they never got back to me. But this is a conspiracy, dude. Jake is screwing me over here.
That's so... I'm still very curious because I know I think I'm alone here, but Florida Candy Factory is very weird to me. Oh, Florida Candy Factory Inc.
I'm sure it's real.
It's it's next to the Clearwater Cemetery.
Yeah, which
is in your
wait,
state.
You know what? I know where that is. My I had a doctor that was literally across the street from the Florida Candy Factory. I'm not even joking. You could see the candy factory.
Let's talk about Enola Holmes. Did you like the movie, Jeff?
Yeah. Good segue. I thought it was adequate.
Yeah.
That's a good really. Okay, I think there was more pushback when we said we were going to watch this than any film we've ever said we were going to watch. Mm-hmm. Because the really bad films, people I think understand. We'll watch them and it's going to be kind of funny.
Well, I think
But this film is in that weird middle area where it's not good or bad.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Well, here's my theory. It's this is, personally to me, at the opposite side of the spectrum as far as my taste goes. It's young adult, it's period piece, this family's, children's like mystery thing, Sherlock Holmes. It's just so I've never expressed interest in this type of movie ever. It's just not my thing. And a lot of what I enjoy, I'd argue, it's not like the opposite, but it's like I said, it's just on the other side.
So what would the opposite of this be?
Like
it would
uncut
be like
gems, like
it would take. Well, it have to take place in the future in outer space.
Star Wars.
That's your taste right there.
Yeah.
That's. Anyways, yeah. Sorry, I was interrupting your broader point.
I'm just saying, like, I think our listener base is a little bit, at least a little bit, reflected on my, because like they watch and listen to my opinion because maybe it reflects on them, and maybe everyone else was in the same boat that they just didn't want to watch this.
I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit.
Okay, what do you mean?
I don't think people watch your videos because they have the exact same tastes as you. I just think that you make delightful and interesting content that they enjoy watching, even if they don't always agree.
That's okay. Thank you, Jeff. But I stand by what I said. I just don't. It's crazy because I think a funny thing is, I don't remember where I said this. I think I said this in a Twitch stream, but like there was, I want to say 3 weeks ago, I came this close to making a tweet that read, "I'm going to aggressively not watch Enola Holmes." Because it just was like so not my thing.
Right.
And then you recommended it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll see how this goes.
Okay, recommended is a strong word. I had not seen it yet.
Yeah.
You made it sound like I had already
like,
watched it and then said, you gotta watch this. This is going to be right in your wheelhouse.
No, that is not what happened.
And Did you like this more than the Dora the Explorer movie?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so at least it meets
really
like the lowest
random thing. No, Dora wasn't awful. That's the thing. It was just like it's a kid's movie. It's like a kid-ass.
And this is a young adult movie.
This was young adult. And similar to Hubie Halloween, this is a movie for middle schoolers, like young, like junior high.
Yeah.
Even that's a stretch, I think. But let's just get into the nitty-gritty.
Of the film, yeah.
Of the film.
Well,
yeah.
So I feel like it's pretty obvious. I know this is based off of a young adult novel mystery series.
Sherlock
It's pretty obvious that they're just trying to say, what if Sherlock Holmes was not a guy,
but a young girl?
Yeah. And I feel like it's disingenuous that they couldn't just make a film about like someone who doesn't have to like ride Sherlock Holmes' coattails and just have a new character. I mean, I kind of get that there's some like it's easier to draw people in and you're like Sherlock Holmes is involved. But at that point, when you're making this world, just make a Sherlock Holmes film.
Like with the original Sherlock Holmes?
No, well, I mean, with the Sherlock Holmes character, just make it about Sherlock Holmes. If you're putting all this money into having this type of period film, I feel like I would have rather them just make a completely new character or just make the film about Sherlock Holmes, who is one of history's most beloved characters.
So you're saying either just make another Sherlock Holmes movie or come up with another Sherlock Holmes-like character completely separate from Sherlock Holmes and...
Yeah, it was just weird to me how they're like, here's Sherlock Holmes for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then here's his sister.
I agree and disagree with this in that I agree Sherlock did not need to be in this movie. And if anything, brought it down because it's like, it's kind of
because he was not likable.
No, because usually I personally, not the biggest Sherlock Holmes fan in the world, but I always see him as like this suave, like kind of likable guy. Like,
exactly.
Oh, that's Sherlock. He's very charming and smart. And in this movie, he's like
good person.
Cold. Yeah, he's like the villain, basically.
Yeah, I mean, like right in the beginning, but when she's appealing to him, saying, "Don't let him send me to this place," he's like, "Sorry, too bad, loser."
I disagree with you in that I like the idea and concept of like Sherlock Holmes' little sister.
Mm-hmm.
And Enola Holmes. I think like I thought she was a charming character.
No, I agree with that.
Okay.
I just meant it felt like the filmmakers felt like they needed to use Sherlock Holmes as a crutch. Like Enola Holmes was not an interesting character enough on her own.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
That was the part that I meant. Like, I thought Enola Holmes was a much more interesting character than Sherlock in this film. It just felt like they needed to like have Sherlock be the judge of like what is and is not interesting in this film, where like they needed to get Sherlock's approval of if she was doing a good job or not.
Yeah. Which you could argue is like the movie trying to say, but this movie's not trying to say. It is trying to say some things, but
yeah,
it's trying to be a bit more like, I don't want to say political, but just like it's trying to be more powerful than it is, in my opinion. Because I think the charm of this movie, like what I wanted out of this movie as someone who didn't want to watch this movie, was like a solid mystery, like Enola Holmes, who's a good character, like trying to put together this puzzle. And I like the fact that she like runs off on her own. There's a missing mother, and I just want her to put together the pieces. Like,
right.
And instead they set up Sherlock. They set up this love interest that was so unnecessary. Just like Hubie Halloween.
You've been against the love interest.
These Stranger Things kids and their love interest.
Some love stuff that is going on? Because you really are hating love right now.
I can't stand it. It's not, yeah.
No, I
thought it just made...
Yeah, you go.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it goes back to the fact that this movie is clunky, and you should not make a mystery film with already a lot going on unnecessary clunky for the sake of what? Like, I just don't think the shit they added onto it was all that necessary.
I just feel like if Sherlock's going to be in it, he needs to be a very minor character. Because this film is about Enola, and it should be about, like, you know, it's kind of like a film for young women to be like, yes, you can be represented in this type of story as well.
Yeah.
Doesn't always need to be Sherlock, which is, I think, a good message, but they kept throwing Sherlock back in this film. Yeah. It's just, it was very clunky. I think, have Sherlock right in the beginning, and then Sherlock, he can be an asshole, and then, right at the end. No Sherlock in the middle. And then, the mystery part of this was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. There was almost no mystery. It was literally like 3 cryptograms, and that was it. There was no observational skills. It was literally she just kept like doing ciphers. She's
just really good at one specific New York Times puzzle.
Exactly. There was it's not at all what the point of a Sherlock Holmes type story is.
Yeah. Well, at first I was like,
there was no investigation.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let's get some maybe this will be like a cheesy, overthinking National Treasure type of mystery where she's like, oh, this letter has to mean something, and I thought that would like be a lot more entertaining, and goofy, and consistent than it was.
Because that was exactly what I was thinking too. Where at the beginning it was like that with the Scrabble tiles and like rearranging all their names and stuff, and then it just abandoned that completely.
Yeah.
Then she just like shows up on a train and then stuff just happens.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
It's just weird. Cuz I wouldn't say I was bored by this movie. I never lost interest really. It kept me going, but it just
cuz it felt like more interesting stuff was about to happen and it never did.
It all just kind of like fell on top of each other where it's like didn't really know what it wanted to be. Too many things were coming together not smoothly, where by the end of it I was just like, okay, like that was fun, but what was that?
Also, too many different people were being mean to Enola in this film.
I know. I'm like,
it's kind of a downer.
She literally didn't do anything.
She did nothing, and just every person is mean to her.
Yeah. Which is,
Like, I don't know if there's any person besides whatever that guy's name was. What was it, like Tewksbury?
Yeah.
The boy, the love interest that you didn't like. I think he's the only person that's like not mean to her at some point in this film that she talks to for more than like a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about it. Because everyone else in his family when she first shows up was mean to her.
Yeah.
Sherlock and the brother were mean to her. The mom was mean to her when she left.
Yep.
Like every single person in this film is mean to Enola Holmes.
She's got to just like smell bad or something where she instantly gives off a bad. Everybody's like, just fuck off. Kidding. Yeah, I just that let me just expand on this love interest. It's just so annoying. There's that first moment where they're like sitting by the fire or something, whatever it was, and they're talking about like their dads like both dying. They're like, I never got to see my father. Or, like I never got to see my father, and they say something at the same time, and it's supposed to be like this cute love interest moment over just no fathers. I'm like, what? I think I'm alone here, but I was like, what is that?
You're like two people connecting over a shared common trauma.
Okay.
No.
Okay, when you put it like that, maybe it wasn't that stupid, but in the moment I was like, there's got to be better things to talk about. Anyways, I do want to talk about Millie Bobby Brown. Apparently she helped produce this. She was one of the producers, which is crazy considering just how young she is. I do really like Millie Bobby Brown as like a public figure and like how much she does at her, like she's a very, I don't know, she's doing a lot. And I think she's a good actor. I was so interested to really like see, I think this is the first thing I've seen of hers besides Stranger Things, and 11 is a very, like, I'd argue one-noted character.
Yeah, very robotic, especially in the first season, which is like the best season.
And she does it really well. Like, it's hard to replace her, but like,
but it's so funny in this film. She's so charismatic because she carries this film.
She does. She really does.
Because Sherlock Holmes is not charismatic in this film.
It is called Enola Holmes, after all.
Yeah. Which is alone backwards, if you didn't know.
Oh my god. Wow. We got ourselves a puzzle here. No, Holmes doesn't spell anything. I thought she was good, which is cool. I think she's like, I really like Millie Bobby Brown, and I wish she got more interesting roles, because she was in like some Godzilla movie, and I'm like, yeah. And then Henry Cavill, I
think it's Cavill.
He looked like a good Sherlock, right?
He looked like Sherlock. Then when he started talking, you're like, wow, you're a mean Sherlock.
Yeah. I guess like,
go solve some crime, Sherlock. Stop talking.
Keep it in your head. Yeah, I guess like this is a perfectly casted film. They definitely like went. It definitely is a movie that acts like it has a lot of money behind it, and they could do whatever they wanted. You know,
is good in this film.
Who?
Helena Bonham Carter. The
mother. She is. Yeah, it's a very embarrassing that I didn't know.
Here's the thing. She looks the exact same as in Big Fish, and that was 17 years ago.
Okay, that's okay. I was thinking.
She's not aged.
She is not aged
in the last
at
17 years.
She, in all her movies, I feel like looks the exact same.
Yeah.
And it was like when she showed up, albeit in like the first 2 minutes of the movie, I was like, of course she's in this. And of course she looks just like that. It's just, yeah, she's weird.
She's one of those faces that's like very specific.
Yeah. I think everyone did what they had to do in this movie, except for the director or the writers, I guess.
Or the editor.
Most people.
Like, maybe I should cut this 20 minutes out of here.
Yeah. That is, it could have easily been a 1 hour 40 movie.
Yeah, that's, I feel like, where it should have been. Yeah. And I think if you cut out all the Sherlock scenes in the middle, you're around there.
But I think that's basically like, here I'll boil my thoughts of this movie down to this. Like, this is a movie that works really well if it were a mystery, because it's like you got the good character, you got her backstory, just set up a good solid mystery that is cohesive, And this movie is not cohesive or consistent. And I think that's where it kind of goes off the rails. Yeah, the mystery was not good. And it's an entertaining movie because you set it up with an interesting character.
Are interesting, yeah.
But, you know, you can only go so far with that.
Okay, I honestly don't. There was not really any follow through in the whole mother bombing the city thing.
No, yeah,
I abandoned that.
I thought that would be like such a big part of the movie, and it
right,
was
and
like,
it never happened. And then why did the mother have to leave if she never bombed anything?
Yeah, it was. I just don't understand.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah,
and also, why was she gonna bomb everything if the vote was like so close?
Mm-hmm. I will say,
maybe she was waiting for it to fail. I don't know what the deal is, man.
This movie planted a lot of interesting things that didn't really come full circle. And that's why, and this is a very rare thing for me, is like I can't believe I'm saying this actually, I'd happily watch a sequel of this. Because I feel like they'd get it down by then. And maybe the sequel would be a bit stronger. Even though I really didn't want to watch this one, I'd watch a sequel.
I think I would too, because Enola was actually a very entertaining character to watch.
Yeah. She's a good character. I know Sherlock would get more screen time in the sequel. I can already tell. But, you know, maybe they'll do him better.
You know what's kind of funny in this film, though?
Yeah.
How many times Enola would just trade clothes with random people?
Yeah. I was thinking that.
So do you want to trade clothes? I'll give you 5 pounds. She did it like 3 times.
Yeah. Not something you do today. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, it would cost more than 5 pounds today.
Right, yeah.
Probably looking at like 50, 60 pounds. Depending on what the clothes are like.
Easily. So what would you give this? Unless you have any closing wrapping up thoughts.
No, I think the trading clothes thing was my final thought.
All right, cool. What are we feeling for a score then? Or a time of day, if we're still doing that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah.
So I think a score, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I was entertained by this film, even though I think it could have been better if it was a little bit shorter and like a little bit, the plot was like a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give it a 3.
That's okay. Yeah. That makes,
because I was entertained the whole time.
For sure.
Mainly because, almost exclusively because of Millie Bobby Brown's performance and the fact that I thought that the aesthetic of like the period piece was interesting to look at.
Mm-hmm. That is true. There are some spots where I know there's a thing where they're setting up like the family of that one. Do you know what I'm talking about with like the black and white photos and they're like they like flip up and it's like it's a style that it's not my taste. I really despise that style, but it looks cool in the movie and they like it's cool, you know. But yeah, I'm feeling like a 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That would have been my second choice.
Yeah. The only disappointing thing about that is that Hubie got a higher score, which feels wrong, but
I just realized that it's kind of funny saying that like a slightly lower rating is my second choice. I mean, I guess it means that it's as opposed to giving it a higher rating, but it's like, yeah, I gave it a 3, but my second choice would have been a 5.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that I think does it for Enola Holmes. I guess for time of day, I would watch this. You know what? Because it's so long, I don't think it's a good movie, but this is a good, like, I'd say 6 o'clock. Like a 6 o'clock.
Yeah, movie. I think I could see like maybe 6 or 7, just like right after dinner, or you're like eating dinner as it starts and then you like finish it.
Totally. And I'm saying that because I watched this earlier in the day at like 11 a.m. and I was like, this isn't right. This feels wrong.
Yeah. I started it like right at 7 Eastern.
Interesting.
So, and it worked out pretty well, honestly. I felt like set, although it was weird because today's the first day of the time change, so it got dark really early.
Yeah. It did get dark early.
I want to get on the record saying I am very against daylight savings time.
I think we all are.
The concept of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the time should always be 1 hour ahead of what it is now after it went back.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I personally might be in favor of it being 2 hours ahead of where it is now. Because I think it should be like dark, or it should be like the sun should rise right when people are like about to leave work for work, and it should set as late as possible.
Yeah. Like
for
9,
just yeah, like
10.
For real. That'd be for a few reasons. I think that having no sun is linked to depression, but also there's less need for electrical power consumption for like lights.
Yeah.
When it's light outside.
Yeah.
And so I think you should save the light for when people are awake.
That's a really amazing point. That's like, it makes so much sense. Huh. Interesting.
Something to think about.
Run for president, Jeff. Just
Dude,
do it
immediately.
by now.
Like the first attack ad against me, they just played parts of this podcast.
They're like, this guy drank old ass Coke. He can't be healthy. You're like, I promise it was aged correctly.
Yeah, I'd be like, technically it was C2. Which they've not made since 2007. Like, I honestly might be the only person in America to have drank a can of C2 this year.
Yeah. Though it's probably
possible.
Are. I don't know.
Because it has not
who
been
else
made
would
for
be.
13 years.
And it wasn't a hit at the time. It's not like it's...
No.
There's a
like,
demand.
no one is looking for that. Like, people used to, like, try to buy old cans of Surge before Amazon, like, rebooted it. Mm-hmm. Which I loved Surge, like, when I was young. Mm-hmm. And I bought some from, like, when Amazon brought it back. It's still good. But, yeah, I don't think anyone's looking for old cans of C2.
No, not at all.
So, I wonder how long it's been since someone else drank a can of C2.
We should get to the bottom of this.
That's the real mystery. That's better than Enola Holmes.
Yeah. The sequel
Enola Holmes 2. The Case of the C2.
E2. Yeah.
So this film would be called E2 for Enola.
Yeah. All right. On that note, we'll get into the questions.
Well, note, like E and C are both notes on the piano.
Yeah.
See, my brain's thinking of codes like a cipher.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, these come from the subreddit. r/Karstcast. I did not put out a thread for November yet. It is just the first day of November, so we actually don't have any $15 patron questions today. But I will be out on the lookout for.
But if you are a $15 patron and you do ask us questions, they're going to be answered.
They'll be
on
answered
this,
right
the
here.
primary podcast.
Yeah, not the secondary podcast.
Not the one that only the patrons listen to.
Yeah. Nope. Okay.
Yeah, those are the questions that just Vegard Strom hears the answers to.
Yeah. All right. Well, this first one comes from Tingaling01, and it is you guys said you both have ADHD. Has it helped you with anything in life? Do you feel that you have become more creative because of it? When did we mention this? I don't remember mentioning
I think we mentioned it last episode.
Okay. I must have just completely forgotten. That's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could start with this.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, it's definitely become less intense as I've gotten older. Mm-hmm. But when I was, like, in my late teens, I definitely used to get, like, hyper-focused on things.
Yeah.
So I could complete things very efficiently. The problem was that I had a hard time starting them, which honestly is still true with things like editing, where it takes me it's difficult for me to start editing something, but then when I start, I can do it for like 14 hours straight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely made it difficult because it was difficult for me to read, like when I was in high school and middle school.
Yeah.
Just because my brain would just be like thinking about something else.
Yeah. Reading is definitely like when it affects my life the most. I get so, and it's not like reading the actual, like I can read for a long period of time, but it's the comprehension that I am ass at. And that's why it's amazing that I'm like decent at watching movies and analyzing those, because it's kind of similar. Like I'm able to recall a lot with movies, but books, I can only remember like the vaguest idea that was addressed in the last chapter, and that's something I like worked on it really hard in high school, and actually like got good enough to where I could function. Like I can read a book. It's just like, yeah,
You're bragging.
Yeah, I can read a book or two. But yeah, it's tough for me to like write or have, I could never last at like a book club,
Yeah, I still have a tough time like analyzing films in some ways where, like, if we're watching a film that's a bit more dense, a lot of times, like for this podcast, I mean, because obviously if it's not for this podcast, I sometimes don't pay as close attention. But when I know I actually have to talk about it, sometimes what I do is I turn subtitles on for films that are like a bit denser, just so I like am, having that reinforcement of what's happening.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, then sometimes when I turn subtitles on, I'm focusing on reading the words, and then I never actually take in anything that happened. I'm just like, oh,
yeah,
right,
it's a
right.
fine line.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing with reading, like the comprehension. What happens, like, it sounds like both of our brains is we're reading the individual words.
Yep.
And not acquiring meaning from that.
Yeah.
Because I would get to the end of a page and be like, damn, I read all those words really fast. I'm like, damn, I don't remember at all what that meant. It just felt like a page of individual words that I was reading, not any sentence of things.
Yeah. I guess to answer that, I wouldn't say, and I don't know if this applies to you, I wouldn't say it has affected like my creativity a lot. I feel like that's a separate thing personally. A lot of it just affects like productivity. Which is, I guess, part of, it's essential to, I think, creating something.
Yes.
And it's part of the creative process. But yeah, I guess that answers it. Yeah, this next one comes from Do Ex Machia, and it is, what are your thoughts on the, speaking of books, what are your thoughts on the Harry Potter series, books and films, etc., and if you have seen them, do you prefer the books or the films? Apologies if you've been asked this before. So, I was never a Harry Potter kid, still not, have tried many times with both the book, I got to the third book, and then lost interest, and I got through the first movie, and didn't care enough to go by.
Okay, I've seen all the films. I mean, I've seen most of them once, though. But I read the books, and this was when I was in, like, maybe third grade, I think, is when the, like, fourth book came out.
Yeah.
And that was when the movie started coming out. So I was, like, I think, like, halfway through the fourth book, and then I'm like, wait, they're just making movies about all these? So I stopped reading the book and never read any of the books. I just waited for all the movies to come out.
That makes sense. I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, they're enjoyable. It's a fun world.
Right.
And again, they came out when I was like the same age, roughly, or like a year younger than like Harry Potter was in the,
Right.
So that was kind of fun.
I mean, that's the thing. I remember reading the first book and being so like obsessed with it. I remember I read like so much of it on this one plane ride on like a vacation or something, and just like it was so captivating. But I don't remember. Like and also I feel like I was not old enough to really get the hype of like such a phenomenon of a book being turned into a movie. Like that was just not crazy to me as a kid.
Okay, I have a question for you. Okay. Wait, how many of the movies did you say you watched?
The first one.
You realize that you can just make a video that's like, guy who's never watched Harry Potter watches all of them at once. And then you're going to get like 3 million views.
No, I don't think no, I will not. I have considered that video before, though. Not going to lie. I have because like I want to do one for that and for the Star Wars prequels because I've never seen the Star Wars prequels.
Oh, wow.
But I did one for the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, but that's the one I think least people would care about. So you did the worst of the three in terms of, I think, like what the public wants.
I don't know. I thought there was a heavy Lord of the Rings fan base, but apparently not. I mean, people,
Harry
it got
Potter's
views.
Like another, Harry Potter and Star Wars are like another step up from that in terms of how much people care about it.
Yeah, Harry Potter's a big deal.
Because I think Lord of the Rings, most of the fans are a little bit older.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like your fans as much.
That's true.
So I'm just saying, I think there's something there.
I think there is something there. I think I might make that video.
And the thing is that all those movies, like the Star Wars prequels and the Harry Potter films, are very entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
like,
yeah.
you might not think they're, great, but
Right.
they're entertaining for sure.
I don't know if I can sit through all the Harry Potter movies in one sitting, though. And
I mean, it could be like over 2 days, and you just lie and tell everyone it's in one sitting.
Right. It would just the Lord of the Rings thing really killed me. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, the third movie was 4 hours and a half long.
Yeah.
And after 7 hours, to know that that's what you're about to watch, it's just fucking brutal.
Right. Yeah. Harry Potter. Okay, I've actually never seen the Lord of the Rings films, but the Harry Potter films really don't feel nearly as dense as like I saw when I was young. I saw the first half of the first Lord of the Rings. But I just remember it felt long.
Yeah. It's a long.
The Harry Potter films don't really feel that long.
Yeah. They're long because they have to be, really.
Yeah, they're long because it's like all these films are condensing 700-page books into 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So maybe I'll do that. Good question. You got a whole video out of it. This last one comes from the Toothpaste Eater. It is, what was something that you said or did that made you feel really old?
I said my age.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, actually. I remember,
so
like...
you're not really old.
I'm
though,
not
so,
that
like,
old.
It's possible that there's nothing... Because there are obviously a lot of people that are your fans that are like 16.
Yeah.
And that's like an age that's just far enough away from you where that might make you feel old.
Yeah. You're
like, wow, these people are 16, and there's like incredibly articulate people that are 6 years younger than I am.
Yeah. Well, so I guess this is my best example.
Or 7 years younger. Yeah.
And this was yesterday. A big part of the John Waters costume was his cigarette. He doesn't smoke anymore, but that was like a big thing in his peak. So I had to get a cigarette. But all the Halloween stores / places that would sell cigarettes were packed. And I wasn't trying to risk catching an illness to get a fake cigarette. So I had to buy real cigarettes. And just being there, this is a cliche, just saying the words like, can I get a pack of Marlboro Reds? I mispronounced it. Yeah. I was like, yeah, can I get a pack of those? I felt old. And they're sitting right here at my desk.
Dude, those cost a lot of money with all the taxes.
They costed $14, I think.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was not
so much of that's tax.
worth it for a...
Wait, are you smoking them now?
No, I'm not going to smoke these. This is the one from the photo. I just have it on my desk. I will not be smoking it.
Have you ever smoked?
Nope. I mean, I've smoked weed, but I've never smoked a cigarette. I've come very close. In Paris, I was like, I'm in Paris. I should just do it. But
You popped a beret on, and then you were like...
yeah.
Oh, oui. Okay, I'm trying to speak French. I don't know enough French words. You're like, je mange un cigarette.
Le cigarette. Well, no, my fucking... Yeah, my host mom offered me one my first night. She's like, you smoke? And I'm like, no merci, madame. I was offered a cigarette on the bridge, like the main bridge in Paris, by my ex-girlfriend's mom at like 10 p.m. And I was like, yeah. And I didn't do it. But that would have been a cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead, it was just like a story of regret.
Yeah. Could have been a very cool moment.
Yeah. You didn't call me out, though, on, like, obviously, I don't know how to say a cigarette in French, but I said, like, I am eating a cigarette.
Yeah, I just decided to gloss past it.
That was like the closest, because I know like 3 French verbs. Mm-hmm. And that was like the closest. That was like the closest one I knew.
I think it's fumar. It's fumer or
fumar is Spanish.
yeah.
So it might be that because it's close. Because obviously they're quite similar.
I need to get this. Fumer is yep, it's to smoke. Yeah. Yep. Okay, it is.
Yeah.
J'ai fumé en cigarette.
Wow, you're so good at
French. No, I'm not. I'd get bullied in France. Dude, never mind. There are so many moments in France where I got so cocky asking for something, and I was like, je, and I said it, and they were like, they just started speaking English, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Just give me the baguette.
Deux baguettes.
Baguette, s'il vous plaît.
S'il vous plaît. Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Yeah, I got so used to saying I was like, bonjour, merci beaucoup. Anyways, man, that feels so long ago. That does it for questions.
You should go to like Hungary and do that.
Yeah,
that's like the hardest. That's the hardest European language to learn is Hungarian. It's crazy.
Jesus, I can barely speak English, to be honest. Well, that does it for questions. We are sitting pretty at 1:05, so I guess we'll start wrapping things up.
Yeah.
We'll announce the next movies. That's right. We're doing another double feature. The film. We will be watching On the Rocks and Lost in Translation, both directed by Sofia Coppola. I know On the Rocks is available on Apple TV.
Both starring Bill Murray.
Both starring Bill Murray. That was the point of the double feature, yeah. I don't know where Lost in Translation is, but I'm sure you can find both of those online.
Yeah, probably at your local library.
Yeah, that's. Do you think anyone is gonna go to their local library? Be like, hey,
do you have Lost in Translation?
I'm looking for Lost in Translation. It was for this podcast that I'm not a part of.
You know what? That we missed such a good segue. So we were talking about you trying to speak French, and the film is Lost in Translation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. The ending of this podcast is really on the rocks.
So yeah.
Well, I hope you have a very Murray Christmas.
Now you're pushing it.
That was the other Sofia Coppola, Bill Murray thing that she directed.
Yeah.
We are not watching that. We're not watching that.
We are not watching that. We considered it, to be honest.
For like 2 seconds, and then we decided why.
Why would we do that? This next one, well, we would do it because it's Sofia Coppola and Bill Murray, but...
Right, but we didn't want to.
Right. So next we like to read a review for the podcast. Definitely helps us in the algorithm.
Did we do that last time?
Did we read a review? I don't remember, to be honest.
Probably. We always do.
Yeah,
we always do. I decided to press you on that.
Yeah, I was... Got me. Start sweating. This one comes from Expired Expiration Date. 5 stars. Subject, great conversations. Subject line. And the review reads, can't believe Jeff doesn't like shakes. I will only forgive if they watch The Game Plan starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That is a good movie. But thank you, Expired.
Isn't it like The Pacifier, but they just remade it with The Rock?
Basically, yeah. And then they basically remade that one with The Tooth Fairy, where it's pretty much the same plot, but The Rock plays a tooth fairy, I think. Mm-hmm. I actually don't remember, but yeah. Thank you, Expired Expiration Date. Really appreciate it. And lastly, we'd like to thank our patrons. Jeff, do you want to read off the benefits for today? Do you want to the cool perks that come with being a patron? You want to take?
Yeah,
I just threw it at you because I had to pull it up and wanted to.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, if you're a patron, if you're a $15 patron, which is our highest tier, where that's the one where primarily you're just helping support this podcast and what we're doing here, but you do get the perk of if you do ask us a question, we will answer it on the normal podcast that goes out to everyone.
Yep.
And then also you get access to the bi-monthly, which means I always forget if that means every other month or twice a month. But in this case, it means twice a month, where we do 2 Patreon exclusive podcasts where we just answer all the other questions you have, and we play some GeoGuessr. And then in addition to that, we also do a monthly Zoom hangout with everyone who wants to show up. And then we play GeoGuessr and like talk.
Yeah, they're really fun. And the next one will be coming very soon. So keep those eyes peeled.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that as I was doing that, I realized I did a terrible job.
No,
and that I didn't differentiate. That's not only for $15 patrons. The $15
no.
patrons is just the question that we'll answer on the regular podcast. Everything else I mentioned is also the normal $5 tier as well.
Yep. So, I mean, it's all on the Patreon page. Just go to
It's all on the Patreon page. Just go to that. That's what I should have said.
/Karstcast to get more information and help support the pod.
And we don't do 2 takes, so you're going to listen to that explanation that I said.
Hell yeah. We are also sitting pretty at 49 patrons, 1 away from 50. And we will...
What if we get to like 51 because you said that, and then someone's like, I want it to be 50, so they unsubscribe.
Yeah, that's... And then the other person thinks the same thing. They think it's them, so they both unsubscribe, and we're back to 49. Here's that shout out though. Thank you. In parentheses, leaves.
I didn't even mention the shout out.
Yeah, you also get a shout out at the end of every episode.
I'm so bad.
I threw you under the bus. Okay. Thank you. In parentheses, leaves room. Before I do the Patreons, I just want to give a quick shout out to Christina Applegate, Allison Grace, Annabelle Falk, Bex, Blake Root, Boat, Brandon U, Brock Schultz, Cameron Mason McCurdy, Camilla, Eden, Fozzie Bear, Hannah E, Harry Remedianakis, Holly Edwards, Iron Tusk 93, Isabel, Iva, Jaden Easton, Jacob Colness, John Van Hout, Joshua Krzyzwicki, Katie T, Kevin Turner, Liqui, Lucian Vecina, Luke Vinyard, Maddie Robertson, Martin Duff, Mary Lee Borslow, Michael Decker, Moses Ox, Monroe Page, Pablo Patel, Parks, Ready Steady, Ernie, Robert Burke, Sam Farr, Sophia Arieta, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Smitty Werbin, Jagerman Jensen, Taylor Hardy, Teal Bacon, Ted Billion, Toad Pimp, Vegard Strom, Vera S, Yolki Sasquatch, and Yusef A. And if I mispronounced any of those names, please let me know. Thank you so much, everybody. Jeff, what was playing on your phone?
That was actually the lockpicking lawyer I accidentally clicked on. You ever watch the lockpicking lawyer?
No. What is that?
Okay, it's a YouTube channel where this guy is a lawyer, but he's like an amazing lockpicker. He just tears apart every like lock that you can buy. It's the best. These videos are really short for the most part. So I'm gonna recommend that. They're great. They're like very cathartic to watch. Wow. Yeah, it's just this guy just like lockpicking.
And he's a lawyer.
Yeah, but what I want to say is it's very difficult to get to, but one of our listeners, Martin Deff, they have a music page on YouTube, so maybe check that out. I'm trying to remember what the problem is. If you type Martin Deff music into YouTube, it's a bunch of Martin Lawrence doing Def Jam comedy. So I'm trying to remember exactly how you get to that, but I just want to give a shout out. Okay, it's Martin Deff Beats.
Martin Deff
the channel.
Beats. Check them out.
Yeah. So I'm just saying check that out maybe. I don't know, it's like cool like ambient stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that's going to do for the episode. What a long episode. But I will say this was a fun one. So Jeff, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I'm going to say catch you on the flip side. Also, this is a shirt for the Stanley Cup champions, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Nice. That is...
that's the...
Definitely wouldn't have gotten that from the words on the shirt.
Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah. I'll say... I will say, I doubt this will have any effect, but by the time this is released, you have... I think 1 day to vote. If you have the ability to vote.
In the United States.
In the United States, consider doing that or just do it.
Unless you were going to vote for Trump.
Unless you're going to vote for Trump.
Then the election's on Wednesday.
Yeah. Please vote blue. for reasons I don't even think I need to explain.
Yeah,
And
vote blue like this shirt.
Like that
for
shirt.
the Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning.
Right. Catch you on the flip side.
Flip side.
Got something in my throat. Flip side. Oh, and